Hey, yeah. Don't want us to print. Definition of dick. Look at Shapiro. You make me sick. You don't like freedom and look like a weirdo. Pay for his attorney general bid, but he thinks he's a hero. We ain't been hurting nobody, so why are you making him fearful? Fear-mongering, all posturing, meant for dividing and conquering. Wonder who sponsors him. Mr. Frisk inserts, I'm vomiting. Mind-boggling, it's false marketing. Want the Constitution toppling, but they wrong again. We just want freedom like soccer was blossoming, liberty prospering. You might have funding, but we have a movement, not icons or wine moms. Just real people wanting improvements, grassroots recruitment of anyone willing to do shit, defending the Constitution. In 27 amendments, I'm fluent. Joshy boy, you must be out your mind. You can't have the fucking laws redefined. Your movement is just some mom sipping wine. Our freedom's alright, you can't buy 'em.
The eMilitia Podcast, Episode 32, Ctrl+Pew, 3D Printing, The Death of Gun Control. Enjoy, fuckers.
Howdy do, everybody. We have another guest episode for you today with the one and only Saint Pew, the Yeet Angel, Bulwark of Narwhals, Master of Memes, Chief Justicar of Jigs, Baron of Bounties, and Armorer of the Boogaloo. And he is, I guess, a professional at 3D printing freedom items.
Freedom items. That's very diplomatic. I like it.
Well, I mean, because it's not just, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But that's not all he does. He doesn't spend 100% of his time 3D printing. He also has an Instagram page. So you go check him out at Control, abbreviated, that's CTRL plus Pew on Instagram for really cool posts and information on that. And he also admins the Keybase group for that industry, for that pastime, I guess. Nothing illegal, it's just a hobby. And so that's pretty neat. But anyway, welcome aboard, man. Let's learn how to tell us your most abridged version of why you got into 3D printing.
Geez. Abridged.
Please keep it to 30 words or less.
Right? Well, one day I bought a printer, and I said, holy shit, it would be cool if I could print guns. And then...
You have 16 words left.
Shit. 15, 14, shit. No, I've always been sort of hovering around this kind of alternative tech space with cryptocurrencies and this sort of not quite mainstream, still kind of mainstream tech. And I've always had, well, not always, but I've really had this passion for firearms since I left the military. And I don't know, it seemed like when I saw the first deterrence or defense liberator video go up, I thought, oh, it's kind of crazy. And I can merge all of these things that I've been watching and paying attention for the last 10 years and do something fun and kind of weird with it. And long story short, I stumbled my way across the deterrence defense group. And yeah, now we're putting guns, all sorts of shit.
I like people who are up to shit.
Well, then you should really have more of us on. We love shit. We're all about mad shenanigans.
Open invite to all.
Yes. So Control. So how long would you say you've been doing 3D printing?
So 3D printing, I've been messing around with printing for probably about 3 years.
Nice.
I built my first couple of printers back when you couldn't actually buy like printers.
That's about OG stuff.
Right, way back in the day with the rep wraps and trying to find some other yokel out here in the middle of nowhere where I live who has a printer. Like, print some stuff and getting my first printer that way. It wasn't until about probably April last year that I really started paying attention to the deterrence defense on Reddit. And then they got booted from Reddit, and we moved over to the Keybase group, and that's really when I started actually doing stuff with the group and playing around with software and designing stuff.
So was it like a security concern prior to that for you to get involved with it, or was it just like you just naturally?
It was about that time where I sort of figured out. So I have a weird way of thinking about projects. So I don't usually start something unless I know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And once I know where it's going to go, once I have that whole like route sort of figured out, I'll get involved and start contributing to it. And it just kind of worked out the time-wise. I wound up on Keybase and sort of figured out what the group needed to sort of accelerate things.
I'm sorry, I have a cold. I realize I keep sniffing. It's involuntary, just so you'll know.
Just drink some whiskey and then print some more guns, and you'll be fine.
I already drank the whiskey.
Drink more.
Drink more than print guns. Only
Right.
those two in unison will cure the common cold.
I drank all of it. I'm out.
St. Pew has given you the.
May you be healed by his words.
So can you 3D print 3D printers?
Nice.
I mean, you can. Like, it'll be in several pieces.
Well,
Just
yeah, of
like
course.
super glue that shit together. But yeah, and well,
So can you 3D print an 80% 3D printer so that it's untraceable,
I mean, well, they're all kind of untraceable, right?
and then 3D print a mill to
Well, no,
make the 80% 3D printer a 100% 3D printer?
The whole
I don't
thing with
know
3D printing is you just print them at 100%.
Right.
You
Well,
don't
yeah,
have
but
to.
that's not as meta.
Yeah, but if you print them at 8,
Well, you could sell the 100% too. But if you really want to be meta, right, you need to start with the 0%, right? So just start with like a pickaxe in a field and just start going ham at the ground, right? And then you get some aluminum and you beat that shit into like a bar, right?
There we go.
Like, you got to do this properly if you're going to really get around government regulation. You start in the field with a pickaxe. Fine. You'll be 100% fine. Your dog will be
We are going deep on agorism, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
I didn't expect it to go quite back to the I guess the iron.
I'm just saying, if you really want to, like, you know, go full down a DIY track, you start with a rock, right? And then you start beating this tree to make a gap for your shovel, right?
Hashtag in Minecraft. Right.
Shit,
we're gonna
now
get
I'm wondering if you can do a 3D printer in Minecraft. I need to figure that out.
The autists are rowdy tonight. God, I'm gonna be dragging us all back on. You're quite happy to go off with the tangents. When the guest is game for the tangents, we are really fucked.
Look, I spent like 4 days going through your entire back catalog and listening to all of your podcasts. So,
man.
like, I've got your general theme. I know how to push you guys off track.
we don't need your help. Shit.
I feel like if somebody did that to study our podcast to learn how we do this, it's only going to throw them more off.
Yeah. You would, if you started to watch all of our episodes, you would have less of an idea on how to conduct an interview than when you started. Like how to interview people for idiots.
I have something really important to ask. Can you confirm? No, it's real. Can you confirm that you came on our podcast before biting?
Yeah, I can
yes.
actually. So you guys contacted me a month ago about setting this up. They contacted me like 2 days ago
Booyah!
and said we want to have you on this week. And I was like, all right, well, shit. I guess I can do back-to-backs. It's party.
Thank you.
So yes, thank you for getting that out there on the record.
So yeah, because tomorrow I'll go on their podcast and confirm exactly the opposite of that, which is really fuck with everybody across the board. It'll be great.
Would you want to give just like a short thing about your Instagram and the Keybase, like guys as a sales pitch?
Sure. So my Instagram is really kind of just, I'm trying to make it a showcase of what the community is and all the shenanigans and bullshit we get up to in private. What it is currently is kind of a showcase of what I'm producing. I've got a link on. And I keep getting involved in these silly projects like Joshi Washi.
Oh man.
Tech9.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That
That
song was stuck in my mind and I was from.
Mission accomplished right there. That's
It
good
was
work.
good.
Yeah. But
We should make that your intro.
yeah, I'll drop you the file.
Oh yeah. I mean, if that doesn't get people excited for something, I don't know will. Like all these little shorts that you guys are like cyberpunk type shit. That I think honestly, it's fucking killer propaganda. Like
Yeah.
every time I see a video, I'll share it. Everyone's just going nuts in my DM comments. It works.
We've got a couple guys in the group who are just fucking insane. The production,
Seriously.
and we love them. They're fantastic, and we wouldn't be half appear to be.
I don't know. I mean, to us, you're going to be kick-ass from the start, but yeah, that stuff really ups the ante.
How fine-tuned can the parts that are produced by a 3D printer be?
Okay, so size-wise, it really and how much time and love and pen suffering you want to go through tuning that thing. Because I've got some printers, when I tune them up really well, Like I can print, really like if you guys are the little minifigures, for the gaming,
That's like
I
a
can print.
giant part of the 3D printing community is
Yeah,
people doing Dungeons and Dragons.
There's a huge subset out there it's a group that's doing that stuff.
That's
But
awesome.
I can print like quarter scale of that, so and still have pretty good resolution on it. So it's not too bad. It's not we're not arranging at, but for what I can do at home, a click of a button, really not too bad. And then precision wise, I mean we're our sort of tolerance fit on a part is like into the millimeter. So
how long?
So on my printers, it takes about 8 hours. I want to say the average is probably about 12.
That's what I was going to get to. Is it the Ender 3 that you use Ctrl+Pew?
I've got 3 Ender 3s. I've got this home-built monstrosity, 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, and then another Ender 3 that I'm still sitting in a box.
I gotcha. So, which is the one that?
Right?
Yeah, which is the one that would take you?
Of course. Sorry, what was that?
Which is the one that would take you 8 hours? Is that the?
Yeah, that's the Ender 3.
Oh shit.
If I were to do that on my gargantuan foot printer, that's probably a 10 or 15 print, just because it's got it's such a heavier the print head and the gantry. It's got more mass, spend more time speeding it up, slowing it down. There's a whole physics problem in there. It's a gigantic pain in the ass, but it's great if I want to print like an entire helmet for like a stormtrooper or something.
Yeah.
Now, what's giving you the ability to print so much faster than me?
It's because I've got gigantic balls.
Sorry, ladies. Might not be for you.
They 3D printed them. Extra large.
They attach via a Picatinny rail.
That's very tactical.
Really, I've just my printers are too. I spent a lot of time, refining the software that's actually on the board, the firmware, and sort of specializing it for what my printers are capable of, the hardware that I.
Okay.
Knowing that you can get them that quick makes my software firmware. So, getting into 3D printing, I think a lot of people are eager to hear about. So, some idiot like myself who has like no interaction with 3D printing apart from admiring, with no prior experience and watching propaganda videos. Where would I start?
Well, if you go to Ctrl+Pew.com, right? Actually, if you just, in the description, if you just put the guide.controlpew.com, right, that'll take everybody right to all the information to get started.
Good stuff.
So step one is going to be buy a printer. So scrape together $200. Go to the first blog post, the guide, and it'll tell you get an Ender 3, get these 5 upgrades for it, and then wait for the thing to show up and put it together.
Nice.
Yeah, we picked a printer that's durable enough and stable enough, kind of out of the box, to really do anything that a beginner printer would ask it to do. So it can do a Glock frame out of the box, tuned enough from their factory to generate that kind of accuracy. You don't have to do a lot to it. And then we have our upgrades that we want to go through, and that's, if you want to do it better, if you want to make it more stable, if you don't want to spend time, things like maintenance. There are some upgrades there that you can do to make your life there a little bit.
And that's something I really have to touch on for our listeners who might have slept through the price. You said like $200, right, for the printer?
Yeah. So
I've seen them like $175 too. Insane.
Right. So the Ender 3 is you can get it for around $160 when you catch a sale. That's shipped to your door. And then the upgrade path that we walk people down is like
So the what, sorry?
The upgrades that we tell people to get. So like it's a glass bed to sort of help with the level or the flatness of the print bed. Bed springs to stay in place a little bit longer. Stuff like that. It adds about $30 onto the price.
Oh, that's
so you're
$200, like another $200, but
no. So you're under $200 for the whole thing, and you've got a printer that's basically on par with mine. The only thing that I've done that isn't, or the couple things that I've done that are part of the factory upgrade or the upgrade path that we tell people to do is I've got some like belt tensioners and a hot end. That's the whole thermal assembly that melts plastic, squirts it out. And all of that stuff was stuff that I printed. So it didn't cost me anything.
Nice. The kick ass about that is, one time you're off.
Yeah, and if you want to practice a little bit before you build your first Glock, there's a lot of upgrades you can print for the printer itself as practice.
That's
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's something to let the viewers know. I mean, if Resi here doesn't help, but I mean, you've been, doing something yourself. We've finally got someone in here who's like a living.
Yes.
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 Can confirm.
Yes.
No, it's like I told my dad, it's the best toy I've bought in a decade. Like, really, I think I got like
You told who?
my dad.
Damn, I didn't think he was still alive.
Ripe old age of 170.
Savage.
I did it through a Ouija board, but
Oh,
yeah,
man.
like for the cost of it, for someone like me who likes building shit and making stuff, like really $250, and you get some good upgrades. You get the printer, and you get your first 2 pound or kilo of plastic, and you get to it. Yeah, they sell them in kilos.
That's 2.2 pounds. But yeah, I want to say when I got into the gun space in the beginning before 3D printing, I bought a mill that cost about $800, and it's not a great mill.
That's a very inexpensive mill.
Right. This is a hobbyist. It barely fits a lower in there. I mean, it's not the ideal choice for somebody who's going to build a lot of guns. And it cost me $800. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a lot of money for like whatever the mill, and I can build other shit, And then I found out, oh, hey, I could buy a printer. Let's fucking do that all the time.
You guys
But
don't
yeah.
get this behind the scenes stuff, the listeners, but you're experiencing what edit is like.
But yeah, like I'd been following the 3D printing for a while, and it was always for my technology level. I had to put out a lot of money and then figure out if I could do the programming and everything that was involved with it. And back then, the programming was way more intensive than it is now. Me, a guy who, like, the extent of my technology is sending emails.
Oh Jesus! The trying
Like-
to
like,
get videos uploaded to you.
I called my kid over to load the Discord app onto the computer when we first started doing podcasting.
Oh, jeez.
No, I think this is an important point, and
Yeah,
you're like
but-
managing with it, right?
So like I've been paying attention to it, and then St. Pew came onto Instagram and was bringing it to my attention again, and like right in front of my attention, not an article every 6 months or something like that, but like constantly. So I started looking into it. When I seen I could get a printer for $170, I'm like, 80% Glock lower is 150 to 180. Why the fuck not? And for like an idiot like me, I've been figuring it out. There's tons of YouTube videos, everything you want. First off, his website, 100% of the problems I've had could either have been prevented by using his follower guide, or could have diagnosed the problems I had really easily.
So I want to say, now that you've said that, that is something that has like kept me up for well, not days, but hours. Like I've stressed over whether or not this thing is actually useful to people getting into this. So I'm glad you said that. 'Cause
I mean, Christ, like a little nudge in the right direction with anything it's a savior, and something like this where you're investing time and stuff, and
Like-
when you start getting into firearms, when it can potentially explode on you, just these little nudges in the right direction are like a godsend.
Like 90% of the questions you have about 3D printers, go spend a half hour reading his website.
I was like, 90% of the questions I get about 3D printers are, what printer do I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like one of the first things that's on your website is what printer to get.
It's in the first sentence of the first blog in the guide.
I got like 10 of them when I was asking questions on Instagram about it.
Oh my gosh, when Mr. Pew did Instagram, like every single one was read the guide.
Right? Literally, theguide.controlpew.com.
I have written a Bible. So unfortunately, this episode is probably going to be the audio book of said Bible to get it on the record before those that buy the bullet get it as well. So, yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff, very entry level stuff. But I mean, honestly, it's a brand new technology, and I think it's going to help people hearing it, like getting it all kicked off.
Well, it's not a new technology.
Well,
It's a technology that has recently become inexpensive and available to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
We've recently reached mass adoption, a price point that allows for. So this,
Yeah.
like 3D printing has been around since I mean, they've been doing it in lab, but the machines cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So yeah, it's an interesting time when that $30,000 machine is now $200, and you
Like-
can order it to your door from China.
Like 2 years ago, an entry level was like $2,000
Right,
minimum.
right.
I mean,
So yeah, it's 10% of the cost.
Yeah, anyone who shits on capitalism.
And the $200 machines are probably might even be a little more high quality than 2 years ago for the $2,000 one.
Yeah, maybe.
With where technology is going and the speed and
I don't know. That would be an interesting. I need to explore that.
So
Find one of those goddamn machines.
your bigger machine's $800, right?
Say again?
Smell.
Oh no, that's your CD.
Oh yeah, no, that.
Your larger machine. How much is that? An older one or?
I'm trying to think about. So I'm building it. I'm scratch building.
Oh, okay.
It. So it's like right now we're probably at hardware.
Oh, okay.
And that's something else. Like these machines are not complicated. If you buy an Ender and you spend some time figuring it out, I mean, it's not hard to buy the parts to get that entire setup. You can even take some of the electronics out of your $150 Ender and put it in your 4-foot wide by 4-foot 3D printer that you're building in your garage or something. So it's not a stretch. It just takes some thinking. It's not hard to do.
So that's an interesting question. Are you like a kind of mechanically minded guy? Because I know you're into this stuff, but have you always been technical, or is this just kind of like a hobby that you realized was my?
Well, for a really long time, I was a software guy. It was only a couple of years ago I started down this.
You were what?
A software guy.
Okay.
I wrote code, the thing that runs computer apps like Discord. Hashtag learn to CAD. Also, hashtag learn to CAD. This is another part of the guide to getting started. We have a tutorial on how to read CADs on. You can design
Nice.
kooky shit like this too. Anyway, I was a software guy for several years, and then, for like the majority of adult life. And then I kind of
One smart
decided,
cookie.
I got tired of writing code and wanted to build some shit. Then I
There you
started learning how to, like, with my hand, cut wood, use a hammer.
No, that's very cool. Crossing it like that.
wood's cool, but you get way cooler shit when you work with metal.
Yeah.
Well, you're.
I'm still branching into the metal bit. I'm a welder. And hashtag.
I imagine the bugs you face these days are a lot. Well, are they more infuriating or less than when you have bugs?
I mean,
I guess nowadays they can explode on you, which might be a little more dramatic.
yeah, but I mean, you gotta live a little bit for the danger.
There you go.
Maybe I'll lose a finger. No, not today.
Up just
That'd be a cool war story.
Yeah. What? Why do you have some plastic stuff? You wouldn't get it.
Grandpa, what did you do in the Great Igloo War? Well, son.
I ran a factory with 200 Ender 3s.
Printing liberators for my boys.
I made so many Bitcoin.
Yeah, so getting into the safety side of it, I see that's a question. Would you say safety concerns are a big part of printing and testing guns, or is it fairly safe? Like, how dramatic are when it fucks up, how dramatic?
So that really depends on how competent the designer of the file was. So, like, I could print, if I printed a Liberator, right, the original Liberator so if I printed it with like a single shell and no infill, so it's a hollow thing, and I tried to shoot it, it's going to blow up my face. There's going to be shrapnel in it, and I'm going to be bleeding. It's not going to be fun. But this is sort of the Darwin solution. I didn't read the instructions. I didn't understand the physics of what I was dealing with, and it blew up in my face. So when we look at the safety consideration of testing designs, we're thinking about the safety from our understanding of the firearm and how that action is supposed to function and what parts of the gun are under stress while it's in operation. So these are things we're thinking about, but even then, it's still like a safety third kind of thing. Because that's how you get things. That's how you evolve, humanity as a whole. So the safest thing to do at the dawn of humanity is to stay in the very back of the cave and starve to death. We'd have been safe, but we'd have starved to death. Instead, we said, okay, I'm looking at this and I accept the danger of going outside and potentially being eaten, but I can kill something and eat as food. Right? So that's evolution number one. We left the cave, and this is a continuation of that. Leaving the cave, we're evolving this technology. We're seeing what the next thing that we
out there fighting saber-toothed tigers for liberty.
Right.
Except it's
do what I can.
50 cal bolter.
Right.
Fuck knows what's gonna happen.
That thing is fucking amazing. I want
know.
that so bad. Oh
And
my
when
God.
you're talking about pushing the limits, I want all the naysayers who are against 3D printing. There's plenty of them out there saying how stupid it is. Like, you got to start somewhere. You got to start testing the technology, pushing it to its limits, know where it needs to be improved. Nothing's ever going to get better just sitting around going, no, that won't work.
There's, I forget who the hell said it. There's a quote that floats around that said, "Success is moving from failure to failure without a lack of." And that's literally what we're doing. It's
Oh,
you
hell
know,
yeah.
we have mass failures, we have partial successes, and then we look at what went well and poorly with the previous design, and we iterate and we iterate and we iterate and we iterate until we have something that's functional that we can release to the like. I going back to the low point project that I did, there were probably 300 revisions to that file in its digital state before the first print was done, and another 30 prints on top of that before we had a version that. And
wow.
there's like there's 9 more evolution plans, which are going to take I don't know how many more hundreds of revisions to the digital design to finish out all of those. So it's iterate or sort of die.
Oh yeah. If everyone gets afraid, then Christ, it's gonna be like, nope, those things explode. Even though we've like, I believe Trollworks, it might have been who had like a working someone in your
Ivan the Troll.
Yeah. Oh, just Christ, some of that stuff is just incredible.
Yeah,
It's like
it's funny. There was even a pro. There was an interview done. It was a pro 3D printing interview. I'm not going to tell you who did the interview. Spoilers, but he's a cool dude. We chat. But he was in the interview saying, "Oh, you'll never be able to 3D print like an AK because the receiver's under so much stress." And the week later, like the Plastikov file, the M files came out, and it was like, "Yeah, you said it. You said never say
yeah.
it."
I mean, all it takes is someone to be,
Younger.
yeah. All it takes is some guy to thumb their nose at your community, and you're gonna be like, "No, fuck you, I can build that."
Right.
Like gun policy with you. The not gun policy thumbing the nose at you, but saying about was it named Josh Shapiro?
Mhm.
Was it? Yep. And sure enough, Christ, that was an amazing turnaround. We started seeing 3D files. Oh, I love it.
That was a conversation with one of their directors at like 2:00 in the morning on Keybase.
I'm
we're
glad
talking
they're
about-
not cases too.
Right. We're talking about, hey, can you just do this whole thing in like an Art Deco piece so it's very clearly a First Amendment thing? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do this. And like an hour and a half later, Art's and fucking, we love you, Jashi Senpai. Yeah. I kind of want some FFL to like print someone with a manufacturing license that don't gets fucked over to like print it out and like because that would be fantastic.
Like a normal that.
Oh yeah, that's something we should do.
Yeah, we should talk about the legality of stuff. Like,
Who cares?
I know from reading about guns that, all right, when you're printing out these gun parts, if you're printing out a lower receiver that normally has a serial number, you are printing a gun for yourself. It's completely legal for you to do that, but you're not allowed to give it away. You're not allowed to sell it.
I thought you couldn't make it to sell it, but you could sell a gun that you made.
Right, we get into a little bit of FUD lore with the whole cell can, but the gist of making a firearm for yourself is if you're allowed to possess the final whatever that firearm is going to become, then you can make it for yourself. So if you file a tax stamp with the ATF, you can make yourself an SPR out of a piece of sheet metal or whatever the fuck. If you just want to build a regular AR-15, semi-automatic, whatever, buy it off your gun store shelf. You can do that for yourself. Assuming you're allowed to own the final thing, you can build additional in there that needs to be done. When you go to with the selling and transferring and all of that other stuff, so for all intents and purposes, sale and a transfer, right? If you can give something to somebody, you can sell it to somebody. These are under the law. They are the the key part is manufacturing with it. So if you make a gun and you intend to sell it, then you've broken law, and you don't have a license from the government to do so, then you've broken the law, and you get rated TF. Now, I was contacted last year by the Cody Firearms. They wanted some samples of 3D printed guns to put in their collection, and I had some guns already printed because I can everything. So we had that discussion. They said, like to get a couple samples of this, that, and another model. And so I said, okay, yeah, I have all of them. Clear it with your board. Well, So because I didn't manufacture I manufactured those as part of my collection and not for distribution. I can transition. I can transfer those to them. I can give them to them. And that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm gifting them several firearms that I purchased, or that I purchased that I made for their collection. I hesitate to say it's a loophole because it's not a expression of the law. Like I'm not. This isn't my business making these guns, right?
Right.
I feel like I didn't explain that very well.
I thought you did.
I think it's such a gray area. Like the best. You can explain something as good as you want in this fucking mess of a we have, and it's still going to be like, wow, that was convoluted and complicated.
Basically, if some DA got a hair up their ass and said we were going to take you to court, you sold these guns, firearms, they could try, right? Because they were distributed, but they weren't manufactured for distribution. Yeah. So that's the sort of
it's all about intent.
Right, and it's in the end of the day, it's all about what gets proven out in court in this kind of stuff. So I mean, we can flip a coin on this.
Say hi to the jury, kid.
Nullification, jury nullification. Also, who the fuck sells guns? Don't sell guns, kids.
Right? Yeah.
If someone really wants you, if someone's asking you to print them something, tell them buy a fucking printer. They're cheap.
Right. Literally buy a fucking printer.
Buy a fucking printer. Print your own. My shit.
What you do, you tell them the price, be like, oh, it's $300 if they agree to it. It's like, but you have to go print yourself.
Well, I mean, having set up many printers, I would pay someone else to set up a print. I would pay someone $100 to set up a printer. So, like, we didn't jack that price. No, it's not that bad. It's just, I'm fucking busy now.
Well, I mean, everybody's busy, man. You're not making a good case for 3D print.
Well, I mean, it's $100,
It's not that bad. It's really easy.
Like, that's right. He did it.
I did mine like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Why do it if you could pay somebody?
Right?
That's true.
Well, it was my first one. I enjoyed it. It's cool. Like I like building stuff, assembling stuff. I'm good at it.
Everyone enjoys the first one. Let me know when you get to 5.
Oh, well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, when I get to 5, independent of how busy I am, too. If I got some free time, I might as well build it, save a couple bucks if I'm busy as fuck. If work's booming, hey, dude, I'll give you $100 to get this together. I need it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, long story short, like, you guys, I assume you guys have read 3.
Hey, one more time.
3 Felonies a Day. Have you read the book?
No.
Okay.
Damn, M hasn't read it.
Wow. Shit. Right. Basically, it's a book that explains ridiculous laws that no one knows or understands that are felonies. And I break at least 3 of those a day. So if I'm going to get busted for something, it's far easier, transfer. Anyway.
No, that's
complete.
That's a good note on that. So legality is not a major concern of you.
I mean, no, I don't want to. I don't want to say that it's not because it is, but
it's good to know the laws at least, so you.
Right there we go. Voluntary sort of,
like know the risks.
Yeah. Right. Go into it, understanding what the hell you're doing.
So, moving along more into the cultural side of it. So we talked a little bit about deterrence earlier, but is there a way to kind of summarize what that's all about for?
So that's a lofty question right there.
Oh, I did not know.
Well, there are so many of us going in so many different directions for so many. So generally speaking, we're lowering the bar to arming yourself universally. So monetarily, skill-wise, knowledge-wise, tech-wise, liberty-wise, right? Yep. So we're trying to mash everything down to the lowest bar possible to absolutely any. If you're some Thai rice farmer and you decide your government's corrupt and you want to overthrow them, log into deterrence suspense, download a gun, build a printer, do whatever. We're trying to collect all of the information together so you can do what you want.
It's amazing.
Yeah, like barring the banning of the internet somehow. I mean, you can't really can't stop the signal. I mean, there's gonna be hard copies saved away. There's gonna be stuff.
Well, anytime someone says something about 3D printing guns and start getting all wishy-washy about it, I just ask them, hey, did you pay attention to anything in Hong Kong? Well, yeah, I seen some shit. You felt for those people, right? Like, you don't want China to take them over. Well, no. Those people are just fighting for their freedom. Well, guess what? If every one of them could build a gun in their garage, it'd be a lot easier for them to do it, wouldn't it? Well, yeah,
That's the
and
idea.
that's like the whole movement and like the keybase thing is it's trying to build cheap guns that the whole world can be free by having guns. The government can't stop it if any idiot who can barely email can build one in the garage.
And this kind of for us, there's an underlying like belief about the Second Amendment. You know, we believe that these rights are they're not granted from the government by virtue of being alive or virtue of a god, whatever. Right, whatever your belief structure is, these rights are inherent aside from the government. So they're also sort of self-evident to all of humans. And that's kind of where we fall in the line of we don't care about what government you're under, right? If you have a means to defend yourself from, if you believe they're overreaching and you mean defend yourself from that level of oppression, we're trying to make that available.
Yeah, that's something that, like the mainstream will never have, but I see 3D printing guns as a humanitarian. Once you extend the Second Amendment and the mentality of an armed society, where it's like, I don't know what's behind this door if I can try to drag some man and kids out into the, like we've been seeing in, I don't want to jump, allegedly in China with the virus, they dragged out like Hobson. If they're quite brazen because they know they're disarmed, but if there's a white have a gun behind that, you're going to be a little bit more polite to the average.
I mean, you can at least look at it like there's got to be some risk calculation to be done on the part of whoever's making that action. So if, here in the States, a police raid on somebody's house, they have to make that capital arm. Is this a reasonable sort of execution of the power of the state towards somebody? And they have to at least, somebody's got to make that sort of risk. Whereas in China, there's no risk. Nothing.
Oh yeah, not going to be a need for damage control if no damage to be done on their behalf.
Right. So I there's an argument made in the pro-gun, anti-gun debate about, well, guns aren't a guarantee of safety. I'm like, no, but they are. Right. You at least have the chance to take an action on your own behalf and sort of save yourself.
It's the whole, even if you don't have a dog, put a sign in your front yard that says you have a dog. And the person who's going to break into your house will maybe break into your neighbor's house instead.
I don't know. It's food for thought for people who haven't thought about it. So.
Yeah. It's not just like the selfish mentality of, oh, they're going to ban my gun. Well, not going to take my guns. Like, it's constantly framed. We need our phallic and feel like, man, it's like, no, I mean, I want every single person on this planet to have the access to, if you don't have those, you pray. That's what I really love. That's like the way it's up right now. I know you guys have been doing this for years, but culturally and our community stuff, everyone's suddenly like, oh, things are getting a bit tight, and then you guys are just kicking from falling behind the line of gun control to years ahead of it, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, we have a chance again. I've seen like a growth of optimism, the gun rights crowd.
I think a lot of it's because we stopped taking it. I mean. There was a time for several years there where it was the gloom, we got to fight the crowd at every front and we can't let it step. And now we're just like, I don't care if they want to write a bill that says you can't download a file or share a link anymore. I don't care. I'm going to do these things anyway. Let me put your face on a gun and call you Joshy Washy and write a song.
This whole can't stop the signal thing, I just want to see that, like, every time you share something and hashtagging it with that, I'm like, beautiful. Put that message out there, because it's resounding. You can't stop this. Really fucking can't. When it's gotten to this point where access to a weapon is, what are you going to do? Ban code, ban the internet, ban 3D printers? Like, oh, we're going to stop a lot more people. And then we're still winning. Try and stop it.
Watch me walk down to Ace Hardware and buy some freaking parts and build a 3D printer and gun.
Yeah.
Like, in real time. I'll stream that shit on.
Watch me do it, bro. Watch me do it.
Watch.
I will fucking do it right now. I will
actually not YouTube. I'll stream it on Pornhub. they're ironically right. They're ironically more pro.
This is the best timeline,
right? Certainly the funniest.
Yeah. No. Again, I side of just the optimism and the middle finger, because while everyone else is like, fuck, it's all over. You guys are just like making memes reality. Like, well. This is what's happening, man.
Like, we've got a set of guys on Twitter who are like and yell at peace. Fuck all of you. I just don't care.
It's a waste of energy. Put it into buildings and shit. Change something.
Like if you're that resoundingly set against what we're doing, there's no point in bringing you to our But there's 30 other people who saw this tweet that didn't bother to interact with it. Who are like, holy shit, that's hilarious. I'm gonna go check these guys out. And there's 100 more on top of that who are like, wow, that's kind of funny. And then they listen to the song for like 6 days, and then the next tweet will get them in the group. And, it's yeah. So the people who are like, oh, you guys are evil, kill babies, I don't care. Go away. You're not my target demographic. I guess.
I don't give a damn.
Right.
No, it's beautiful.
You're not a repressive government, so I can't waste my time on you.
Ironically, doing this is the second time I've been called a baby. I've been called a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Why exactly though? Like why?
You're a veteran, right?
Right. The first time I was coming back from a deployment, I was in uniform, like walking around, oh my god, baby killer, some random crazy ass lady, and I was like, I don't have a response for you because that's like 30 years ago in Vietnam. We're in a whole new era now. But
You should have asked, how did you know?
right, like if I'd have had the same sort of outlook on things that I do now, it would have been a much different conversation.
They probably follow you on now.
Right. She's probably my number one fan. Holy shit.
No,
Anyway.
probably not.
No.
Or she's writing Twitter every day being like, dude needs to be banned. This dude needs to be banned.
Ah.
I said no
Definitely.
on this podcast.
Definitely.
St. Pew fan club.
Not because somebody wouldn't be your fan.
All right, where are we at? It is a good one. So, for the completely uninitiated, like dear old 107-year-old Resi over here, what are all these crazy-looking square barcodes you post around, and how do I skip?
What are these kids asking? I know this.
No, listen, do you want to know who asked that question?
Yes.
Moment.
N Block asked that question.
What?
He wanted him to answer it for our He was being
Right.
kind.
So for the people, I will answer this question for my adoring fan. Right? These are called QR codes. They link to, in this case, they link to URLs, which are their uniform resource location.
What does QR stand for?
Quick reference, quick reaction. I don't know.
It sounded good.
Quick reference does sound.
Yeah, I think that's actually accurate. Anyway, it's a code. You can download an app on your phone and scan this QR code, and it will take you to a website. For us, we're linking you to our repository of files for pleasure. Downloading pleasure.
It's a quick way to get to where you want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
Quick way to
teleport.
reference things.
It's a teleporter.
It's a teleport for everyone who's always like, where do I get these files? Where do I get these files? Use one of the QR codes.
And I'm glad you said that because I want to clarify. Every one of you who's asked me on any of the social media platforms where I get these files, go to the links and poke around because I can't actually tell you where any of these are. The platforms have forbidden me from telling you where to find the thing. I have to hint at it like a fucking, I don't know, coy 16-year-old. Hey, you want to hook up later? Or something. I have to fucking hint.
I'll say when I first found the fucking website with all the fucking downloads, I was ecstatic because it took me a minute following all the hints, and I was like, "Oh my god, how do I add this to favorites real quick? Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Don't hit erase.
Shit, I hit the X button. How do I get it back?
Yep. No. Yeah.
Control-Alt-Delete. RMRF.
Quickly, it was bookmarked.
Yeah, speaking of, what's Ctrl+P?
So this started as I used to be known as Build to Shoot. That used to be my handle. And then there was a joke in the Keybase group about somebody making a graphic with a printer and a gun icon graphic. So I made one as Control+P, and I thought, holy shit, this is really good branding. And then I generated a new handle called Ctrl+Pew because we're printing, and then it's for gun. Also Ctrl+Pew as in gun control.
Awesome.
The last line of gun control is manifest one in your.
That's
Kind of what
awesome.
I'm getting to, but also kind of ahead of the curve, so it's fine. Whatever, fuck it.
Right.
Quick. Yeah, one more note on QR codes. I know we jumped ahead, but I'm going back. So I love QR codes. As a graphic designer, I love them for propaganda because again, can't stop this. I get that on a sticker. I slap it on a post or a sign or we're at a bar. You're just like, oh, what's that? Scan it, and you got gunfire. That's just you can put that anywhere.
Yeah, so that's actually something that we're looking at right now. Yeah, so it goes to the store, if you see me IRL something.
Oh, here's a good question. When is he going to release the Glock 44 blue? I need to get better at left-handed and blowing up my right hand will be a train with all left.
So I feel like because we have the Glock blueprints already, they make like aftermarket 22 conversions for them, and they actually work really well. Like you don't even have to buy rails for them; you can just print. So I feel like we don't even need to release Glock 44 blueprints because our existing Glock 44 clone is already better than the original one. But yeah, throwing some shade at you, Gaston.
Oh hell yeah! So that actually leads me into a sort of a further strain of that. So this is something something that excites me about this 3D printing thing is eventually it's going to be with the market very directly. I mean, 10 years from now, if Glock releases something like this, or HK, or FN, or whoever it might be, and everyone's like, wow, this is a piece of shit. Like, it jams all the time, it just sucks. Why are you charging, $800 for this? Yeah, it's ugly. A bunch of 3D printers and CAD designers and stuff can just be like, I stayed up until 3 a.m. and I designed this. I don't know, print it off and test it.
Right.
And next thing you know, the company's just sitting there, twiddling their thumbs like, they can redesign that, and now we can.
And you can do it in hot pink for no additional.
Exactly.
Whatever fucking rainbow chartreuse you want. I don't care. It's your gun.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all that custom work for the comfort of your couch or wherever your CAD works.
So, I mean, I see where you go. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen. The problem that we're still a very sort of commercial culture. Like we like to buy shit, and a lot of people would rather buy shit than make shit. So we're trying to turn that around. There's always I don't see that we're ever going to really compete with like a major manufacturer. Like Glock will always be Glock. We'll never and now that I've said we'll never offset, like someone's gonna just release a bomb ass Glock frame and me to shut the fuck up. So
well, I think personally, like the FGC 9, like I was looking into buying an AR9 just to fuck around with, just to have fun with.
Me too.
Why the fuck would I spend $1,000 to build one of those when I can build an FGC for fucking $200?
Yeah, right? Too right. I saw Whiskey talking about that as well. He's like, well, fuck. Let me know when this thing's, good.
The FCG is an amazing, amazing piece of engineering. And I want to say, right, that's entirely designed by Jay Stark. I've been involved in a lot of these. That is, so the gist of it, for anyone not following along, is it's entirely home built. So, well, not entirely home built. It's entirely built from completely unregulated parts based on European, right? So in Europe, they regulate barrels, the bolts, pressure bearing components. They're focused on. So it's a lot more difficult to circumvent than U.S. law, where you mill a firearm part out of a piece of aluminum a day. So yeah, it's a crazy piece of engineering. If you're not following the project, the way to follow the project is to join Keybase, pay attention.
And when you join, don't ask when the files will be released.
Right, we'll yell at you and tell you. We won't actually. We're really much nicer. Well, the
sentiment will be there.
Right, we'll all be thinking, God, you're dumb. But no, if you want to get involved, the files are out for the ECM to ECM your barrel, right? So that'll be your proof to get into the beta test for the FGC9. If you show up, if you've downloaded the file, if you've gotten the material together to make your own barrel, and you've made it to spec, you can send us a picture in Keybase, prove that you'll get into the beta program. You'll get all the files for the FGC9, and you can print it. It's a shenanigans. So yeah, do that. And if you show up on day one with the end barrel, you're hot shit, and we'll.
That project had absolutely from the land of mascarole, and it's going to be released very soon. Going for a PA loop timeline of British control up to now passes. That might Jesus Christ. Anyone who listens to that one, how so seeing something like this that could be made from plastic and can get down. Future is now.
Well, ironically, steel you buy from China.
Yeah,
but everyone can buy from China, and it's regular. It's a regular product. It's not regulated.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I want to say it's actually harder to build the FGC9 in the US than in Europe because it's all staged around metric hardware. Which, I mean, is really difficult for us for theirs.
It does make it harder searching for products.
Yeah.
In the metric version here in the US, trying to buy the same stuff but in a standard version compared to metric.
Oh man, it's a completely irrelevant point, but well, no, not completely. But so I came over here. I was trying to put some odd stuff on my right, and it turns out Allen wrenches are European.
Yeah.
I fucking de-threaded like an entire set of rail scales. I was like, oh, you motherfucker.
That's good.
We call them standard and metric.
Yeah.
Standard.
I'm kind of glad you de-threaded those.
Hey. Oh wait, Keymo, I'm on fucking mod.
M-lock?
M-lock. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think of it. M-lock. That's what it was. No, Keymod. Yeah.
Well, for confusing the two, you need to do 4 hail stoners and 5 bloody Kalashnikovs.
Yes, thank you. I'll get right on it. My apologies for this transgression. I try to keep my
will be forgiven.
Again, I'm gonna drag us back to a previous question because I'm a dick and I'm all over the. But, on the point of not. No. So something it came to mind. Someone was talking about it on Twitter, and it just came to mind how the modding in gaming. They'll take a game and build completely new shit. Sometimes going beyond what the developers to the point of it's getting to the PUBG. I know that was like entirely fan-made modders, and then it became its later on. I can see a similar kind of technological progression for 3D printing with guns. Like, personally, that's how I see it. It's become open to the average person to just fuck around with all at home. Eventually, it's going to be like, oh, well, you started with great. I'm glad you did the engineering stuff, but I can make things better. And that's kind of how I see it, kind of discussing.
Yeah, it's always good to see someone put their own spin on. So I know this is an aside. So the High Point C9 is, I don't know how you feel about High Point.
That's my carry gun.
Right? Every day. So there's a guy on eBay selling rails that you super glue onto the front of it. And, it's been asked for. It was requested of High Point on the serving thing on firearms, and they decided they weren't going to do it. They updated their newest model, but the original C9, they never updated the frame. They did it for like 20 years. So that's something that I put on the High Point just because I wanted a rail on the front.
Yeah.
For lulls and whatever, bayonets and stuff.
Pistol bayonets are very, very important.
Right. You gotta, for when you're out of ammo, so you can throw it at something.
If you manage to get through a whole magazine with a High Point. Right.
So, yeah, so I put a rail. That was just on a laugh. I said, fuck it, let's do that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for somebody to mod out the Glock frame a little further. I've got a project I've been working on for the Glock 17 frame that Freeman released that adds the ability to put a stock on the back of it.
Nice.
A little PDW.
Like a pistol brace kind of thing, or like a full-on.
Either. It's basically a Picatinny rail on the back, so
nice.
Any of the SIG stocks or braces.
Depending on how much you.
Right. Or how much you really love paying extra taxes.
There was a really nice one on Thingiverse that a guy. Yeah. It's if for your non-guns, your gun accessories. There's a lot of things on Thingiverse.
Yeah, there's a lot of people and a lot of stuff on.
But a guy had designed a Glock frame with a folding stock and a front grip. It just made it so you couldn't put any internals in it. Someone like you could probably cut and paste that shit in like a half hour.
Or I'll just work from one that got all the internals and stock on the back of it.
All right, there you go. I don't know what's easier. I told you, I'm a techno dummy.
Look, all you got to do is you got to go to the website. That's the guide.Ctrl+Pew.com, and then click on the blog post. CAD. All right, you can be.
I'm working on it. I actually just got a CAD program. Nice. I got a subscription to one. My computer's not strong enough.
Oh.
I'll have a new computer in 5 weeks at most.
See, now you got to build the computer.
No.
You got to do it yourself.
No, I got time for that shit, man. I want to get back to printing.
No, but you got to go out to a field with a rock. You got to beat a tree down and carve it into a.
Well, I'm gonna start with a stick. I'm gonna start with a stick to dig out my rock.
Got it.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm gonna make my own forge. I'm gonna work my way up. And even when I get down to the computer printing shit, I'm still gonna wear the loincloth.
Well, I mean, that's just gonna give you style points.
Exactly.
As long as you send feet pics to the Key Ace group, it's fine.
I'll sell feet pics eBay. I don't give
No,
that shit away
no.
for free. I'm a
It's-
capitalist.
Never do.
We're giving you the files for free. You need to send us feet free. That's
All
how
right. Well, you know what? You know what?
That's really fair.
I will trade some feet pics for files. It's a good barter. I'm all for that.
Man, you're gonna get kicked out of the group.
I'll go out and find. I'll go out and find better feet pics than what I got. Trade
Feet
off.
pics for CAD files could be your next propaganda.
Christ.
Everyone's gonna quit the group.
You're gonna get
Right?
a lot of feet pics when this episode airs.
I already get a lot of feet pics.
Just
Like I'm not. This is already a thing. It's a joke, but people legitimately send feet pics.
It's all good.
Right?
I maintain that it's Anglo's fault that this entire fucking
Well,
curse word. I don't
as
care
far,
who it
as far as
is.
your currency goes, you and Emp are the fucking millionaires or billionaires.
What are you talking about?
You have a lot of feet pics. I know people are sending them to you.
Oh no,
Don't lie.
Now they're gonna. Way to go.
I swear.
She's
to
just
God.
saying that to drive up the price.
I'm just never gonna come back to fucking
She's
Instagram
making.
now.
She's got an artificial surplus going on.
Yeah, I'm
holding
just
him back.
keeping them in stock for when I open
One of
the
stores.
when I start the.
Oh Christ! I want that to never be a thing, but now that you've said it again, someone undoubtedly the fucking handler.
Don't steal it. I'll kill you.
Oh shit!
Just kidding.
I don't know.
Was that a violation of the non-aggression?
Honestly, we never know.
If they steal that handle, that's aggression against me. I have every right
against
to
my
defend
property
myself.
rights.
I mean, is it really your handle though? If
No.
if they took it, so
No IP laws.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, what's the handle? Come on.
Get this guy off the podcast.
Alright, I'm done. We got enough.
Anyway,
All right. We'll transition. What's the most difficult thing you do? Is it the 3D printing? Is it the designing?
My biggest headache right now is dealing with tax law. So I know taxation and all that, but I'm trying. We glow enough as it is, like group gun stuff. I'm trying to not, glow in either way. I'm trying to dial back the glowiness on other stuff. So
We're positively fucking irradiated.
You
Right.
don't want to Al Capone it and go
Right.
away for something gay like tax law.
yeah, that's some silly shit. So I recently LLC'd and start doing the next iteration of stuff for Unity, and start dealing with money and trying to pay devs to build cool shit. So yeah, that's really my biggest headache, getting an LLC, figuring out what's taxable and what's not taxable, and then cryptocurrency taxes. Yeah, payroll taxes, death
Death and taxes.
tax. Yeah.
just bitching about some we're all dealing with right now. Beautiful. Was this like a technology that you thought of, like, I don't know, anyone thought of happening as a kid?
no.
It's not quite flying cars, is it? You know?
I was surprised when I seen the first car.
Well played. It must be really interesting for you to stop cranking and you just hop in, and I mean, now we got fucking push start. It's you come a long way, man.
Like, we used to call push start when the old lady fucking got in the back and got to pushing.
Man, you really had the, when you were joking about the loincloth earlier, it was probably like an OG one made from Sabretooth, right?
I still got it.
Nice.
Killed it himself.
That's some vintage shit.
I used the mammoth tusk.
You're being very generous to yourself. Where are we going with this?
Anyways, as an engineer in industry, I have the opportunity to work in technology. 3D printing is one that we work with a lot now. And I focus in the heavy welding sector. Insane how much withstand now. They're coming out just different materials that you can very, very effective. Things like that. It's just crazy to see how the technology is loading. So,
What is your average welding arc? What's the temperature of it?
well, the melting point of steel,
Well, no, I know. What's the arc?
whatever above steel is, that's what I know. We're talking at least 3,000 degrees. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect. Over time, it will wear and melt, but
But if it can handle that for a short period of time,
oh yeah, like especially once that trickles more into usable things for the private sector. Because I mean, right now, since I work for a large company at the get best in time, you'll be able to get materials much that will handle.
Yeah, as the processes to make that stuff get more and more common and easier to do and better refined, like the costs go. It's like pharmaceuticals company. The first pill cost $12 billion. The second pill cost 12 cents, you know? So the price of a lot of pharmaceuticals, when you get past the insurance and their markups and bullshit, is based on offsetting that $12 billion cost of the first pill. So, I mean, through time, through tech, all things get cheaper. 3D print is a great example of, you know, we went from $10,000 printers 5 years ago to $200 printers today.
Yeah.
So, something else I want to jump in there with. You said, you know, it might not last the lifetime of the weld, but it'll last long enough to complete a weld, you know, 20 minutes at weld time. I mean, a lot of this comes back to a question I get a lot about. Will there ever be a useful 3D printed gun? You know, a practical one? Like, well, that depends on on a lot of it depends on your use case. You know what I mean? So, so you know, there was we talk about the printed Liberator. There was a Liberator before this that airdropped all over Europe during World War II, occupation,
Liberation of Paris.
the little and the whole idea of this thing was it's a single shot pistol, and you could walk up to a sentry and murk him and take his gun, right? So it's all about the use case of the gun you're talking about. So you could airdrop a Liberator into occupied Paris. You could take one guard and collect his kit and move on. I completely derailed.
Like into like Glocks and AR-15s, and they're usable time.
So the use of your definition of useful is all variable based on what you're using, right? So a gun is better than no gun, or a gun that shoots once is better than no gun. A gun that shoots 100 times is better than shoot once. You know, obviously, a machine gun is better than. But it's all about what the scenario, what's your use case for that, because it is a tool, right? You can't beat a nail in with a screwdriver. You can. It's but
I was like, yeah. I've done that.
Right? Me, I said it the second I said it. Like, fuck, no, I've done that like yesterday. Shit. Anyway,
but no,
it depends on the size of the nail, what you're pounding it into, and the size of the screwdriver.
Yeah, like with 3D printing, I don't want people to get some kind of like end all to gun control, because it's kind of like you said, a means to an end. At least this initial is where it's like at the minute we're just trying to solve the problems we have,
right?
In terms of subverting tyrannicals and such. But
think about it. Think about it like when guns were first and they were starting with metallurgy, and guns were blowing up on these motherfuckers. Like, don't think the first couple guys that built a black powder rifle, and I think it was China, is where they started. Like, you don't think some of those things blew up? You don't think people were like, dude, why are you doing that? We got a sword. We've always used swords.
If you looked at the designs for the first firearms, they were literally called hand cannon. With a black powder rifle, it was just a chunk of metal and a hole, and you put gunpowder in another chunk of metal hole, and you touched it off with match cord or something. And yeah, they were like, this was before you could test your metals and know like the tensile strength of metal. So
metal was like pretty, like, they built swords,
right?
But they didn't know anything about explosiveness and metal combined.
Shrapnel.
Yeah, there were a lot of one hand.
How's the gun work going? Holds up to sorry.
Oh, very good, very good.
We're getting somewhere.
My worst Chinese accent, but it's okay because I'm Asian.
Was that Indian? Was there much gun work in India? I don't know.
Speaking of India, have you seen any of the videos from like the Khyber Pass gunsmiths?
I have not.
Those guys they're building like MP5s with friggin' hand files and like they're pinning the receiver to like a stone block and like going at it with a file for like 6 days. Making MP5.
I haven't seen the gun videos from India, but I've seen some car building videos from India, and those guys will make nothing into everything.
I think Khyber Pass is Pakistan. Anyway.
Yeah, Pakistan can get like an AK for like $100 or $50.
And like this isn't like this is an AK that somebody spent like a month building with a fucking file and a rock. You know, like,
it does look like our freedoms are actually
right.
Yeah, shit, we found them.
God, it's mad shit. I think I'll send you some. Yeah, it's sorry. Right.
Oh, no. That was a very traditional tangent answer. Like, we started somewhere, and it was relevant the whole way through, but we can't quite remember where we started. So, it was good. So here's a question harking back to security. So, doing your work, and feel free to say skip on this one if it gets too in depth, but or too personal. Have you ever been contacted or confronted by any? Have you ever been?
So I am known by law enforcement. I am, but not like in that way. So it's funny because I go to church with a lot of the law enforcement in the area. Yeah, we're on friendly terms. A lot of what I do. I'm sure some of them are following age. Take that as a good or a bad. But I think they're kind of amused by this, and sort of they understand it. At least the ones near me do. Simply because the last time they did, a sheriff's department training, they called me up and said, "Hey, can you build me an IED?" And I said, "Sure, I will do that and bring it to you where." "Oh, to the school? Okay, sure. I will bring you an yeah." So, I mean, it wasn't a real one. It was a prop. There's a disclaimer, but yeah. So I'm sure they know some of the.
Too bad your answer wasn't like, "What do you want the range on that to be?"
Right?
Before they got to prop, and oh yeah, totally.
So safe to say you're not going to be dropping hints about this podcast at church.
I mean, I'll put it on my Instagram right next to IED pictures from the last training that we did. But yeah,
Hey,
it's
officers.
right.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, this is a personal question. What print? Is there one print you can think of in particular that is giving you more problems than any other print? I mean, it might be because of mechanical problems or just you putting in stuff wrong, but is there one print in particular where you're like, man, I hate that fucking...
So I'm gonna drop this in the chat, guys. This is not show. I know it does. Yeah. So this is my little blue igloo dice. I use it as a calibration print for my print whenever I tune them. And so this isn't so much because this print is really technical. It's excited die. It's just because it's the calibration print. So anytime I'm running this print, something's wrong with my printer. Yeah, I print a lot of weird shit. I print a lot of shit in general. So I don't know if you guys watch TFB TV. He was doing a community AR-15 build at one point in time. So I designed and printed him a inch glow-in-the-dark cock grip. It would mount on the Picatinny rail on his rifle. Foregrip, and yeah, you could wrap his finger around the ball sack and get a nice firm grasp on that thick baby.
At the right time.
That is the answer I was hoping for.
Well, this clearly got much more personal.
I said I watched your back catalog. I know the answers you guys are asking.
There you go. I appreciate.
Right?
Appropriately, one of my Q&A questions was, what's it like having such a big piece?
I mean, I did say before I'm Asian.
Well, now you know.
As me.
So sorry, no disappoint.
Oh, well, at least you can 3D print yourself.
Right? Prosthetics.
Yeah. Whenever someone says, "Oh, you gun owners are just compensating," just send them.
Right?
Just waiting for someone to give me that file.
Right?
Like, are we sharing or not?
I do have some about various things that you do. My Twitter followers. What's Keybase and why do people talk about it? And what is deterrence?
So Keybase is our pseudo encrypted chat room for all of this. It's kind of a hub where people first come into the gun printing group as a whole. I say pseudo encrypted because the application we're using is encrypted, but there's like 5,000 people in the rooms. I mean, at least one of them's a Fed, and they're clearly, just try not to glow too, and all that. And then it lets us sort of engage new people in the community and new people question. And then as new people turn into more experienced printers, more exclusive groups and other chat, yeah, everything sort of expands from Deterrence Dispensed, or DET-DISP, the name of the team, DET_DISP. That's the name of the team that join, that we have all of these fancy and fun conversations.
And where can people find do they just search it or something?
If you go to theguide.Ctrl+Pew.com, I will have one written by then.
Perfect.
Yeah. Keybase, it's keybase.io. You got to create an account, chats on the computer. and then the team and join it. It's not that difficult.
I think we all have Keybase.
Yes.
I'm on
Is that what
social.
we talk on with those little bomby messages? That
Yes.
disappear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I still have no idea how to use, to be honest.
Same.
You've definitely got a flag now. Those little bombing messages, we're fucked.
No, like they have like
We're
a
fucked.
timer, like a timer. That's I'm talking about a timer.
All of
That
our
looks-
dogs are already. Oh,
Spare my cat.
yeah, no,
No.
little chungus dot.
No, but yeah, if you're really, really interested in it, especially if you just bought your computer or your printer, join the Keybase. Join the community. There's a ton of people there.
Yeah, a lot of some of them are assholes. Happens when you get a group of people, but
I mean-
most of them are going to be more sort out printer issues and I don't know what I'm doing issues. As long as you approach it with a level of sort of self starterishness, you're willing to go download the file, the frickin' read the file, you're not present what you need. And then once you've done that, you come back with issues. We'll be happy to.
When are we going to see something in the 3D printed realm? Ugh. Yeah, I know, right?
Try it again.
Belt-fed 3D printed guns. When are we going to see that? Like
Well,
maybe even with just 22.
When you build it.
Right. I got two standard answers for this. One is as soon as you build it. And two is as soon as you buy me one.
All right.
So those are your two kind of like. There are three actually. You could start a bounty program, which I also host on my website. For if there's something that you want to see done, we can generate interest in the community. And if somebody hey, that's a reasonable amount of Bitcoin, it's a hassle to develop a belt that's 3D printable. Then yeah, party on.
There you go. Who would have thought
Capitalism.
money for
Imagine.
madness? Well, that answers about 30 of our questions. Can you build this for me? Is this part? Yeah, yes. Send them the money.
Right.
They
Literally pay me money.
They build shit for memes, so I mean, yeah.
Right.
Money's even better than.
Yeah. I have personally two aspects when I take out. One, how much do I want this thing to be a thing? And then two, how much money am I going to make? And if I want the thing bad enough to offset how much money I'm going to spend in making it, right?
There's a Venn diagram in there somewhere.
Right, totally. There's like 4 circles, and they all anyway.
Meme cash. Yeah.
Right. Like the whole Tech 9 thing before it was a Joshiwashi. I wanted a Tech 9 with a spare Glock mag.
There you go.
Spare mags are fun. So I did that, and so, hey, can you put his face on this? Like, yes, that's hilarious, and I did it free because it was hilarious. So yeah,
And the only thing more valuable than Bitcoin.
right. Humor is priceless,
So some fucking crypto.
right? You gotta hodl the bitcoins,
Yeah. Hey, you just set the price down, you fucks.
right?
All right. Anyone have any remaining questions?
We didn't get a lot of weird.
No, I think and that's kind of 3D printing and to your credit, Ctrl+Pew. Everyone's taking you seriously. Everyone's kind of seeing the stuff happening in Virginia, and they're like, "Fuck, we need like a really clever alternative that's gonna, break through this bullshit." And yeah, everyone's like, "What's next?" And this is what's next. I think that's something pushed out there.
Yeah. On the one hand, I'm like deeply honored that everyone took it seriously. On the other hand, I made a fucking high point. So,
I want more memes, damn it.
right. If you're gonna ask dumb questions, I'm the guy.
Okay, one of the dumb questions that I got. Does anybody ever confuse Pew in his handle as a reference to church pews and ask him to officiate their wedding? That was a legit question somebody asked me.
I mean, I did consider getting ordained.
I'm actually fun fact.
Oh,
eMilitia is now hosting weddings with special guest Ctrl+Pew
sure. I mean,
Pay in Bitcoin.
I'll play. I don't know.
or feet pics.
Yeah, feet pics. There you go. I don't know what the hell I do at a wedding.
Oh no, I'm looking, so I don't know why the fuck I got. I basically did it for the meme. I think I watched a bit too much How I Met Your Mother, and it's like you always get these moments where it's like, "Oh, let's get married," and I was just like, that'd be kind of funny to be that guy who's like, "Well, I'm ordained," and so I fuck no regrets.
Has it happened?
Yeah.
No, I'm waiting for
Oh.
I'm waiting for it, man. It's gonna happen one day. I don't know how fucking legal it would be.
No, advertise it a little bit more.
All right, yeah.
Your British accent, you're guaranteed to get it.
What a fucking I completely hijacked this one. So no confusion. No one thinks you're Control plus a.
I mean,
St. Pew.
like I say, I was gonna get ordained after Eat Angel business, but then I kind of let it slip, and like the meme of the moment passed. So
there's still time. I think getting ordained or getting married by St. Pew is a lot more marketable than BR. Like I think I'd probably instantly bring sin upon any marriage I was involved with somehow.
Well,
yes.
You want to be married by Bloody Revolutions or Ye Angel, Control Pew, Saint?
I would put a lot more faith in your marriage if it was him. Much more a savior for this community than I am.
Now I need a hymn. Somebody needs to write me a hymn.
There you go. Yes, write him a ham.
I mean, sure, you could write a hymn, but yeah.
The question came out.
Now I'm hungry.
Said,
Goddamn. Y'all were talking about wontons earlier.
Well, one of our hosts eats them on the podcast and makes so much noise.
Religiously.
We have to get.
Outfit.
We're like, maybe not do that. And he's like, okay, next podcast, he's stoned in the bits. He's like, wontons.
We're not going to name any names, but he cuts out a lot. I'll leave it at that. Name and shame your co-host. We got a few. All right, here's a good one. A nice technical one to end on, unless anyone has anything to follow up with. What material being the next breeding?
So the next big player is going to be whatever's cheap and strong.
Good answer.
So like right now we're using PLA plus $20. Well, I should cheap, strong, and easy. Right. So PLA plus is what we tell everybody to use. It's stronger than PLA. It prints just like PLA. It's really easy to print with, and it's durable enough for most of what. There are some stronger ones like Zytel. It's a nylon filament, but it's also more expensive. And I keep getting tagged in this one post. It's called like Alloy 910 or something, and it's pretty durable too. And they're very consistent for a gun. I'm like, yeah, anything, literally any filament. Well, most of them work for a gun. What gun to pick? So yeah, but Alloy 910 is like the spool, or $50 for a pound. So the shit's just ridiculously expensive. So again, I mean, our whole thing drive the bar to entry to the spool. So a spool of filament is $20.
Yeah.
You know, it's a kilo of it, 2.2 pounds, right? And you know, why make the cost any higher? You got to beat. I don't know what it's going to be, but you have to be cheaper than PLA and better than PLA, and that's kind of a hard bar to beat right now.
I'm sure it will come along though. I mean, the way this stuff's going.
Oh yeah, yep.
I love it. I guess like an extension of that would be, I guess the stronger, more expensive stuff. Is that something you'd advise for? I don't know. I guess advanced, the final.
Yeah, the more like the expensive and durable filaments like and stuff, they are harder to print with. Just at a default kind of level. So you have to have a lot more printer tuning wise. You have to really understand how to troubleshoot a failure print, and then it's, you know, you got to be okay with spending bucks on just testing the spool, and sometimes it's hard to ask people to do. So I wouldn't say don't. Like if you're, you know, if you think you can deal with it, by all means, go for it. Or if you hate money, or if you think you can't deal with it, go for it. Fuck it, why not? This whole thing was started by people. Hey, I think let's fucking do that. You know, that's literally all we ever do is fuck it.
What slicer program do you...
Cura, basically. CURA. Freeware. It's pretty stable, pretty solid, pretty consistent. Generally all around pretty good.
I know you get that question like every other comment is, what material? And, you know.
Also, go to theguide.control.com.
If you haven't heard of it, not yet.
Theguide.control.com. Go now.
All right.
And just for everybody else, like I actually bought the domain Ctrl+Pew, like all spelled out and shit, just so there'd be no confusion.
That's awesome. Can you guys hear my mic now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
It wasn't working earlier, and I asked a question, or BR ignored. I hope it wasn't.
I did ignore you.
You did?
Yeah. Nah.
Okay. How do other podcasters or podcasts?
Shoot me a message to literally anywhere. Yeah, I try and respond. I've reached a point now with like the number of messages that I get that I can't respond to everybody. We're starting to lag behind a little bit, and it's
Makes
causing
sense,
me
yeah.
it's causing me significant anxiety. Like I hate it drives me because I really do enjoy like get started and stuff. But yeah, message me anywhere. Hit my website. There's contact info there. Yeah,
The signal out there.
right. If you can find my phone number, call. Good luck to you. But
You'd be like, who the fuck is this? Hey, is this Ctrl+Q?
fuck. Now I gotta change my phone number. No, it's all good.
What material do I use? For fuck's sake.
Right? I'm just gonna change my voicemail to like the guy. I get it translated into like 19 different languages.
Press 5 for Mandarin. What? Any further questions, guys?
I don't know.
Literally anything. Dumbest thing you could ever think of to ask me.
Cat girls or fox girls?
God fucking damn it.
I mean, I did do some Neko Mimi ears early on in the Instagram days. Pretty printable ones. There, you can actually buy them off my Etsy page. I'm fucking retarded like that. Like you can buy the file and print it yourself. So, my heart says cat girl, but my soul says fox girl. Tail is nice, but yeah.
That's a legit answer.
Yeah, that's actually the most legit answer we got to that question. I almost respect it. I am.
We went deep on that one. You weren't expecting it, but we went deep.
Yeah, no, I'm currently erecting a cross, but I'm still proud of you for actually giving like a deep response.
Oh, good shit.
Oh, well, if you listened to us on the Morning Drive podcast, do you have any input on the teleport question?
I mean, shit, rehash it for me.
All right.
PR has to, I can't.
Yeah, no. So
that's
I'm
why
gonna,
I asked it like that.
like crack my neck and sit down. Like, all right, this is some serious shit. So, quick shout out to the Morning Drive podcast. Give them a listen. Nice, laid back, Southern gentleman, talking libertarianism. So we went on there, shooting the shit, and so the topic came up of teleportation and how convenient it would be. And my mentality when it comes to just that, I think there's a potential in the far future for teleportation to exist. However, I believe your stream of consciousness would end if you so there would be like an identical copy made up entirely from your particle. But I think because teleportation is ripping you down to tiny atomic level and rebuilding you somewhere else, I think your stream of consciousness would end. There'd be like another you that, I've successfully teleported, and they'd have all your memories, but you would die in that moment. They'd just be like a clone of you when you successfully teleported. That's my, I've hit the bong of too much kind of.
So to dive into this then,
the real podcast begins now.
Right, at minute fucking 92. Right?
There you go. We'll do a fade in right now.
Right. So, so your new teleport has all the memories that you previously had. But your old teleport itself is effectively, right? Is there a gap between your destination and your input?
Gap is in like distance
time-wise.
Time. Okay. Because how quick is it? Or
I mean,
I know
teleportation.
that answer.
There's always somewhat of time. Teleport time becomes the.
Oh fuck! Time is a construct of man.
It's true.
Right.
Never.
We're on God's time now.
Fuck.
Had to ask the nerds.
You're messing with forces you can't possibly.
Uni smooth brain. No. But I guess I always see it as a difference next. So if you come out the other side with all of your previous knowledge and experience, and else, does it matter what happened to your original?
Well, yeah. So as the way you life, your little fucking POV, you step into the teleporter like, all right, ready to go, Billy? And you're like, yep, thumbs up. Flicks the switch, you're fucking dead. But 3,000 miles away or wherever, 5 feet away, you appear and you're like, wow, it worked. But your view ended. You fucking went to black, and so your God, you're fucking dead.
Now
and
the next
identical you that thinks it worked.
Right. The next consideration though is how fast did that signal travel? Because electronically speaking, we can only transmit it to light through a vacuum, right? But materially, we can only really transmit it to speed. I don't know what theoretical maximum speed you could transfer a particle at. But if you're going into a teleporter on one side, the body is being constructed, right? Is your body being transported to a new? because that's certainly slower.
Probably be a lot like 3D printing, but
Right.
honestly, I don't know how. I genuinely, I'm not just trying to fucking tie it in. I think it would genuinely be kind of similar. But
No, so physically speaking, right, it would only be efficient to recreate a body on the right. So your source material is different, but the output of that source material is the same. So effectively, your body would die, but then we get into the whole construct of consciousness, soul, which would be transferred via signal from one teleporter to another. So now we get into the whole biblical realm of is there a soul, is there a heaven, is there a hell? What happens in that intermediary space? Are we getting into like what's the fucking movie with the ship that goes through hyperspace but then comes back fucking haunted and kills everybody?
Oh, what is that fucking Stella?
No.
Star Trek?
I mean, I'm sure they did that in Star Trek.
Those are very interesting answers.
I've actually never seen Interstellar or like whatever the fuck.
Haunted ship.
Are you talking about like the
hyperspace.
Cloverfield paradox?
No, it's not Cloverfield. It's literally a ship that goes through hyperspace, comes back to Earth, and then like they send a crew to explore the ship because it's reporting and it's dead.
Event
and all the-
Horizon.
Yeah, there we go. Event Horizon.
How
So
are
you've
we
crossed the
fucking
event horizon. Is that hell? Have you crossed into hell? Are you now consumed by demons? Is it actually you that comes out the other side, or is it just a demon pretending to be? And then
Oh,
you
yeah,
kill
yeah.
like literally everybody. You know, is this the end of times? Is how like is this? You know, have you guys seen
Seen
that
what?
old movie Constantine?
Yeah.
It's about the son of the devil trying to break through to Earth. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So is this basically that? The teleporter is now too magical. You've breached the gates of hell and unleashed all of its horrors upon us. Evil.
Would you ditch your meat suit for like a robot body?
I mean,
I think this is probably M's favorite question.
that really depends on the quality of feet pics.
What's that damn show? It's coming back.
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. Yes. You ever seen
Yeah.
that control?
Yep.
So that
Season
kind
2
of
coming soon.
yeah.
So if I could trade my meat suit, pretty interesting. If I could trade my meat suit for a robot suit, that would also be kind of interesting. If I could toggle back and forth at will. Also, if I could run like 5 or 6 at the that would be so much more.
You know much about transhumanism?
I mean, I could probably conjure something. So
I was gonna say like, because I feel like we're steadily approaching where it's like I don't know, we get cybernetic enhanced.
sure.
Is that something you would have any interest in, or does that like freak the fuck out of you?
No, I would love some offline storage
Oh,
and like a wireless integration with all of my 3D printers, and then
hell
I could just think about, hey, you should print this gun. And
yeah,
then it
right.
would print the
Instead
gun.
of like, oh, when I get home, I have to set that up. You're just driving home. You're like,
Right. But then I could also interface with the camera watching the print, so I could see it in real time, and then if I get an error, I could adjust it. And then there could be 5 of me all doing that across like 90,000 printers, and just have all the guns.
be sitting there at dinner and like not talking. Like, hey, you listen to me? Oh, sorry, I was just working on my
Right.
CAD file.
That's like, hey, you listen to me? Like, no,
Like, I'm busy. Shut up.
right? I'm very nice to my wife. I'm not mean.
Okay. We can do tangents for like probably hours, but
Literally.
yeah.
I guarantee it.
I'll pull this as a like, are we still learning or? So
Oh.
I might be the adult in the room. I'm sure we'll 2 hours, but
I think we got an episode.
I think we got an episode.
I think so.
I'm gonna be the
So-
adult.
The question is it a good episode?
Oh, fuck, I was about to make a really bad joke. I'll have to make it off air. So before we wrap up, so you said your Instagram handle. Where else can we find you if people have been dozing off in the middle of the fucking episode? Like,
Yeah, so right now I am at CTRLPEW everywhere.
Nice.
I haven't been banned yet. If I am banned, it'll be Ctrl+Pew, like a number. So
.2.
right, not even just a 1 or a 2, and then we'll increment up from there, so we can keep track of how anti-freedom all of us are in the long run, just by watching the number grow over time.
You can use an uppercase I instead of an L. Exact same.
Yeah, but then it's like Ctrl+Pew. I don't know. I don't even know what that.
Well,
I don't know.
It's the
Us-
aesthetics.
Yeah.
us on
Okay.
this podcast right now, and our listeners will know that secretly stands in your CAD dick. So
Right. Oh, hey, there you go. Tying it all
symbology.
together.
Yeah,
Nice.
symbology is important. But,
I could just change my logo tomorrow to a giant,
Yeah, there you
meaty, veiny, thick, girthy.
Can't stop the signal hashtag. Not compensating for shit. No, really. But thanks for coming on, man. It's been a fucking giggle. We've educated. We've talked shit. You've gone off into the absolute nonsense we love to get into, and I appreciate that. We're on brand.
This is the podcast goodbye, not the actual goodbye, so don't hang up like Pat did.
No.
It's like, no, Pat, we want to shoot the shit with you. Fuck.
No, it was a good time. Thanks for having me on. I hope everybody learns something and gets into this exciting little hobby and potentially loses a finger, but follows proper risk management and goes into these experiments with full knowledge that they could fuck it up. So.
Just
cheers.
Curious, before we get off here, is there some place we can find all this information?
Oh, yeah. So if you go to theguide.controlpew.com, you'll learn everything you need to know to begin. If you hit all the links it's literally all the links on the website. You will all of the links, literally everybody, and everything, and all the information on every other thing you could possibly find, except like hentai. You can't find hentai on my website, but everything else you can find.
Worthless.
Yeah. Just for you, though, I'll add some now.
There you go.
But,
Good man.
Just one.
Nothing says libertarian like him.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on. Everyone get out there. Fucking this shit is so cheap to get into, and it's like Bitcoin. You gotta be in it to win it. You know, we gotta push this technology out there, make it common. We've all gotta be involved. Like, fucking Rezzy's in here leading the charge for the eMilitia. I'm probably gonna pick one up soon enough because that's just shit. Do some learning, get a new hobby, build some shit in your and don't get your dog shot.
More grip, and you could wrap his finger around the ball sack and a nice firm grasp on that thick, veiny. Look, I said I watched your back catalog. I know the answers you guys are asking. So, right? Right? And it's glow in the dark too. Glow, right? You know when that no-knock raid comes, exactly where your rifle is. Right? What the fuck is this thing? Here, let me give you a better angle so you fully understand. Let me get the lighting right here so you get full effect. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that was something I did. Haven't released the files for it yet. Not sure if I want to. I mean, I did say before I'm Asian, so sorry, no disappoint, right? Prosthetics, right? Oh, speaking of compensating, you guys have seen that, right? You okay? So somebody made a suppressor that is literally a dick. Yeah. Yep. Right. For the life. Lol. Right. I don't know if this is gonna stand, but we're just inside the chat. So Keybase is our pseudo-encrypted chat room for all of this. It's kind of a hub for everything, where people first come into the gun printing group as a whole. I say pseudo-encrypted because the application we're using is encrypted, but there's like 5,000 people in the rooms. I mean, at least one of them's a Fed, and they're clearly, just try not to glow too, and all that. And then it lets us sort of engage new people in the community and new people question. And then as new people turn into like more experienced printers, more exclusive groups and other chats, everything sort of expands from Deterrence Dispensed, or Det Disp, the name of the team, DET_DISP. That's the name of the team that join, that we have all of these fancy and fun conversations. If you go to theguide.controlpew.com, I will have one written by then. Yeah, Keybase, it's keybase.io. You got to create an account, chats on the computer, and then the team and join it. It's not that difficult. Yeah. No. A lot of, some of them are assholes. Happens when you get a group of people, but most of them are going to be more sort out printer issues. I don't know what I'm doing issues. As long as you approach it with a level of sort of self-starterishness, you're willing to go download the file the freaking read the files, you're not presentable what you need. And then once you've done that, you come back with it. We'll be happy to. You guys have given me a good idea. It's going to be a set of iron sights for an AR-15, where like the rear sight is like a regular rear sight, but the front sight is a dog. It's a dog for all the feds. Call them training sights. I don't know, but they've been trained to anyway, right? Oh, he needs to be sitting there facing back shooter, and like we need to find a micro motor so tail could whack. God, I've already gone too far with this one. Right? I feel like that's a sort of standard. Wow. What? Hold on. So 10 a day sounds outlandishly high. Right. That seems like a shockingly high number to me. I think Peter would tweeting about it as insufferable as those assholes are. I just wonder if there's some guy who like goes to a laser engraver and gets a dog engraved on his sidearm. I feel like that's a thing. There's got to be one, right? And if that is a thing, like I want that gun. Kind of hilarious and really sad. And that's my ideal comedy is both really sad at the same time. I feel like that's a perfect match. Yeah, deterrence defense. Defense Distributors also a group. They're Cody Wilson's team. Yeah. Well, right. That I got two standard answers for this. One is as soon as you build it. And two is as soon as you buy me one. So those are your two kind of like. There are three actually. You could start a bounty program, which I also host on my website. For if there's something that you want to see done, we can generate interest in the community. And if somebody hey, that's a reasonable amount of Bitcoin, freaking hassle to develop a belt machine gun, 3D printable, then yeah, party on. Capitalism, imagine. Right. Literally pay me money. Right. I have personally two aspects when I take out. One, how much do I want this thing to be a thing? And then two, how much money am I going to make? And if I want the thing bad enough to offset how much money I'm going to spend in making it, right? So like, right, totally. There's like 4 circles, and they all anyway, right? Like the whole Tech 9 thing before it was a Joshiwashi. I wanted a Tech 9 with a spare Glock mag. Spare mags are fun, so I did that. And so, hey, can you put his face on this? Like, yes, that's hilarious, and I did it free because it was hilarious. So yeah, right. Humor is priceless, right? You gotta hodl the Bitcoins, right? Yeah. On the one hand, I'm like deeply honored that everyone took it seriously. On the other hand, I made a fucking high point. So, right? If you're gonna ask dumb questions, I'm the guy, I mean, I did consider getting ordained. Oh, sure. I mean, I'll play. I don't know. Yeah, feet pics. There you go. I don't know what the hell I do at a wedding. Yeah. What? I mean, I'm sure you're going to the Arizona rally. We'll all get on Twitter and Instagram. Hey, Bloody's ordained, and yeah, get married at the rally. I mean, like I say, I was gonna get ordained after Eat Angel business, but then I kind of let it slip, and like the meme of the moment passed. So I just, well, I mean, it now I need a hymn. Somebody needs to write me a hymn. I mean, sure, you could write a hymn, but yeah, now I'm hungry. God damn. We're talking about wontons earlier. So the next big player is going to be whatever's cheap and strong. So like right now we're using PLA Plus, $20. Well, I should cheap, strong, and easy, right? So PLA Plus is what we tell everybody to use. It's stronger than PLA. It prints just like PLA. It's really easy to print with, and it's durable enough for most of what. There are some stronger ones like Zytel. It's a nylon filament, but it's also more expensive. And I keep getting tagged in this one post. It's called like Alloy 910 or something. And it's pretty durable too. And they're very consistent for a gun. I'm like, yeah, anything. Literally any filament. Well, most of them can work for a gun. What gun to pick? So yeah, but Alloy 910 is like a spool or $50 for a pound. So the shit's just ridiculously expensive. So again, I mean, our whole thing drive the bar to entry to this possible. So a spool of filament is $20. It's a kilo of it, 2.2 pounds, right? And why make the cost any higher? You got to beat it. I don't know what it's going to be, but you have to be cheaper than PLA and better than PLA, and that's kind of a hard bar to beat right now. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. The more the expensive and durable filaments and stuff, they are harder to print with, just at a default kind of level. So you have to have a lot more printer tuning wise. You have to really understand how to troubleshoot a failure print, and then it's you got to be okay with spending bucks on just testing the spool, and sometimes it's hard to ask people to do. So I wouldn't say don't. Like if you're if you think you can deal with it, by all means go for it. Or if you hate money, or if you think you can't deal with it, go for it. Fuck it, why not? This whole thing was started by people. Hey, I think let's fucking do that. That's literally all we ever do is fuck it. Cura, basically, Cura, freeware. It's pretty stable, pretty solid, pretty consistent. Generally, all around, pretty good. Also, go to theguide.controlpew.com. Theguide.controlpew.com. Go now. And just for everybody else, I actually bought the domain Control, all spelled out and shit, just so there'd be no confusion. Yes. Shoot me a message to literally anywhere. I try and respond. I've reached a point now with the number of messages that I get that I can't really respond to everybody. We're starting to lag behind a little bit, and it's causing me significant anxiety. I hate it, drives me nuts, because I really do enjoy get started and stuff. But message me anywhere. Hit my website. There's contact info there. Right. If you can find my phone number, call. Good luck to you. But right. Fuck. Now I got to change my phone number. No, it's all good. Right. I'm just gonna change my voicemail to the guy. I get it translated into 19 different. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Literally anything. Dumbest thing you could ever think of to ask me. Send it. I mean, I did do some Neko Mimi ears early on in the Instagram days, 3D printable ones. There, you can actually buy them off my Etsy page. I'm fucking retarded like that. You can buy the file and print it yourself. So, my heart says cat girl, but my soul says fox girl. Tail is nice, but yeah, we went deep on that one. You weren't expecting it, but we went deep. Yeah. Oh, good shit. I mean, shit. Rehash it for me. So to dive into this then, right at minute fucking 92, right? Right. So so your new teleport has all the memories that you previously had, but your old teleport itself is effectively right. Is there a gap between your destination and your input time wise? So right, we're on God's time now. Right? Junie's smooth brain. No. But I guess I always see it as a difference next. So if you come out the other side with all of your previous knowledge and experience and else, does it matter what happened to your original? Right. Now the next consideration though is how fast did that signal travel? Because electronically speaking, we can only transmit it to light through a vacuum, right? But materially, we can only really transmit it to your. I don't know what theoretical maximum speed you could transfer a particle at. But if you're going into a teleport on one side, the body is being obstructed, right? Is your body being transported to a new? Because that's certainly slower, right? No, so physically speaking, right? It would only be efficient to recreate a body on the right. So your source material is different, but the output of that source is the same. So effectively, your body would die, but then we get into the whole construct of consciousness and soul, which would be transferred via signal from one teleporter to another. So now we get into the whole biblical realm of a soul. Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? What happens in that intermediary space? Are we getting into what's the fucking movie with the ship that goes through hyperspace but then comes back fucking haunted and kills everybody? No. I mean, I'm sure they did that in Star Trek. Yeah. No, it's not Cloverfield. It's literally a ship that goes through hyperspace, comes back to Earth, and then like they send a crew to explore the ship because reporting and it's dead, and then all of a yeah, there we go, Event Horizon. So you've crossed the Event Horizon. Is that hell? Have you crossed into hell? Are you not consumed by demons? Is it actually you that comes out the other side, or is it just a demon pretending to be? And then you kill like literally everybody. You know, is this the end of times? Is how like is this? You know, have you guys seen another old movie, Constantine? It's about the son of the devil trying to break through to Earth. Yeah. So is this basically that? The teleporter is now too magical. You've breached the gates of hell and unleashed all of its horrors upon us, evil person. I mean that really depends on the quality of feet pics. Yeah. Yep. So if I could trade my meat suit, pretty interesting. If I could trade my meat suit for a robot suit, that would also be kind of interesting. If I could toggle back and forth at will. Also, if I could run like 5 or 6 at the same, that would be so much more. I mean, I could probably conjure something. So, sure. No, I would love some offline storage and like a wireless integration with all of my 3D printers, and then I could just think about, hey, you should print this gun, and then it would print the gun. Right? But then I could also interface with the camera watching the print, so I could see it in real time, and then if I get an error, I could adjust it. And then there could be 5 of me all doing that across like 90,000 printers, and just have all the guns, right? And I should be like, hey, you listen to me? Like, no, sorry, right? I'm very nice to my wife. I'm not mean, right? I could also hook up to my Ring door, see them coming up on my porch, and then maybe send out the dog, right? Like a Roomba comes out with the Liberator, like a silver tray. Jesus, you know there is a version with barrels on it, and it's on a slide, and you just push it up. Oh, yeah, there's some mad shit out there, right? No, you were right the first time. Oh, I guarantee it. Oh. So the question is it a good episode? Right? Hey, what are you guys ranked at now? What? Peace Libertarian now? So basically what you're saying is go on there and vote for everybody except biting the bullet? Oh. Yeah, just a disclaimer, like I'll vote for you guys today, but I gotta vote, so. Isn't it just a coin flip these days? Is it? Yeah, so right now I am at CTRLPEW everywhere. I haven't been banned yet. If I am banned, it'll be Ctrl+Pew, like a number. So, right, not even just a 1 or a 2, and then we'll increment up from there, so we can keep track of how anti-freedom all of us are in the long run, just by watching the number grow over time. Yeah, but then it's like Ctrl+Pew. I don't know. I don't even know what that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, hey, there you go. Tying it all together. Nice. I could just change my logo tomorrow to a giant, meaty, veiny, thick, girthy. Yeah, it was. No. No. It was a good time. Thanks for having me on. I hope everybody learned something and gets into this exciting little hobby and potentially loses a finger, but follows proper risk management and goes into these experiments with full knowledge that they could fuck it up. So, cheers. Oh yeah. So if you go to theguide.controlpew.com, you'll learn everything you need to know to begin. If you hit all the links it's literally all the links on the website. You will all of the links, literally everybody, and everything, and all the information on every other thing you could possibly find, except like hentai. You can't find hentai on my website, but everything else you can find. Yeah. Just for you though, I'll add some now. But yeah, just one. Yep. What? You're gay, Raj.